Okay, we are back for our Lawson Cypress Snow White. So last video I cleaned up the main trunks and after that I wired some branches. A lot of the branches are not old enough to get wired yet, so the main thing I wire is this trunk, one of the twin trunk, and the branches on this trunk are not old enough to be wired. Some of the branches has become woody on this trunk, so I wire them. Not many, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the apex, so it's six branches I wired on the thicker trunk. The thicker trunk is too thick and too rigid, so I don't have any wire that can wire this trunk, so I will just leave it on this this angle and mainly style the thinner trunk and some of the branches. Okay, so now we're just going to move them around and see how they would look good. This is the front, and probably going to move this to the front a little bit. What I want to do is to move it to the front a little bit and then have it come back later. Just have it come back and stand straight. What I did here is I let it come towards us a little bit and then come back to the thicker trunk later. Okay, so that's very minor work, and now we have all these branches that we can kind of move around a little bit. So first, this branch. For conifer trees, we normally want the branches to bend downward. The reason is that in the older conifer tree, all bonsai try to achieve the goal to make a young tree look older. So in the older trees, the branch normally hang downward because of the weight. A lot of foliage on a long branch, and the gravity drag it downward. So normally it would hang downward, and then the foliage go towards the sun and it would come up a little bit. So that is trying to mimic the thing we see in nature. So the same thing go to this. I'm just going to try to make it hang downward and then go up on the tip. Let's see if I can control this a bit better. Downward and then go up. think this wire can be wired a little bit tighter, so it controls the branch a little bit better. Come here. Okay, just going to make it hang downward and go up. And I'm going to make it on the side a little bit so that it doesn't hide the trunk, and going to twist it towards the audience a little bit. Okay, that's what I will do. Again, this trunk also do the same thing. I'm just trying to arrange them so that they have a 3D distribution. So if you look on this side, this branch is not old enough, so I will wait until it's older and then wire it. This 3 branch, one is towards the back, one is towards the front, and one is the middle. So I'm just trying to distribute it with a 3D distribution. So this would hang downward and then up. Just trying to distribute all these branches. Since this is here, I'm just going to tilt it backward a little bit. This hang downward, up. And come back to the front and look at, let's see. And these are all too young to be wired, so I'm just going to do this one. Downward. And then up. But as it go up, let's see. Yeah, as it go up to the top, the branch in the old tree, the top branches are normally lighter, so maybe I don't need it. For a branch that high up, we don't need to bend it downward so much. And now it's the apex. Thinking overall, I'm trying to create the image of the 2 trunks. First, get apart a little bit and then ultimately come together. So so that's why I cut this part so that it naturally go this way. Let's see. But also, since the apex is so soft now, we can probably do some crazy thing. The apex is still very soft, so I'm just going to do maybe some crazy thing, twist it around and take a look and see what happens there. Overall, I want the two trunks to ultimately come together. Okay, I want it to come towards the audience a little bit. Simply just bend this down. No, I still want this to be an apex. Let me think about it. What would be the good solution to this? What would be a good solution to this? Here is what I came up. I basically spin it into an S shape in 3D, and ultimately the apex come towards the other twin trunk. Okay, here is what I have for now. I'm not going to repot this. I'm going to wait for the tree to heal and wait for the spring until I repot it. I simply take all the roots out of the pot. I'm just going to put it into the same pot and then wait for it to grow. In October, which is about in 2 weeks, I'm going to give it some fertilizer so that it can grow in the fall. And since I cut out so much foliage, it probably affect its winter hardiness. It probably don't have much sugar stored in the trunk to help it go through the winter. So I probably bring it indoor in the coldest days in winter so that it survive in the winter, and once the spring come, I can start repotting the tree. So here is the Nabari and the twin trunk, the gin, my first gin, some branches that bend downward, the apex that is S shape, the other trunk. I still need to wait for these branches to grow up and have a woody branch for me to wired. So here is this twin trunk tree right now. I'm just going to seal all these cuts so that it doesn't get so it heals wells in there. So I'm just going to find the gloves, or maybe I will just use my hand. Just seal all these little wounds with this tree wound pruning sealer grafting compound. So hopefully they will just all heal over. seal all these carefully so that no disease can get into the wounds, and hopefully it would heal very fast. One of the things about doing this pruning and styling work in autumn is that in autumn the tree is focusing on developing the vascular tissue, so these wounds would heal very fast. But I'm not going to touch the root. I'm just going to let it be good and wait for the spring to repot. Well, but that big gene would become a dead wood, so things probably not going to get into the gene. Hopefully. Or that's what I naively hope. Wounds. Okay, I think these small cuts are fine. There's one more big wound here I need to seal. The small cuts are probably fine. I'm just seal the big one first. Okay, and one more here. Okay, so now this is all sealed up. One more here. Okay, then I'm just not going to touch this tree until the spring. Maybe I will give it some fertilizer to help it grow during the fall and winter, and then next spring we'll see what kind of pot we're going to put it in, and hopefully it become a nice bonsai. I really hope this become one of my best. Let's spin it back to the front and look at it one more time. So this is the front, and this is the whole view. Okay, I will give it a name when I pot it into a bonsai pot. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.